The trust observed so far because of the COVID-19 pandemic by opponent of the third mandate for President Alpha Condé will be broken by the National Front for the Defense of the Constitution. The FNDC has announced a new street protest in Guinea. According to opponents, the government took advantage of this trust to try to weaken the front. This is the message from a senior official of the National Front from the Defense of the Constitution, announcing the resumption of street demonstration soon after the month of Ramadan. We got everyone on the way. The Ministries of Securities and Administration of the territory, each in turn, issue a statement warning the eternal troublemakers. This statement from the Guinean authorities highlighted the state of health emergency in force in the country, an attitude deemed absurd and ridiculous by the FNDC, which challenged the government that despite the health emergency, 287 members and sympathizers of the front were, he says, illegally kidnapped and imprisoned in various detention centers across the country, disregarding all health and humanitarian consideration. Health crisis maintained by the government, according to the FNDC newsletter. This health crisis, which Guinea is struggling to stem, was provoked and maintained by the government in order to serve as a political instrument against the opponents of the project of third mandate for Alpha Condé. The government, for its part, considers that the objective of the opponents is to provoke clashes with the security forces to cause new victims and thereby tarnish the image of the country. The South African president warned that the coronavirus pandemic in his country will worsen while announcing that containment measures will be released. We must expect the number to increase even more and faster, he said. He called on South Africans to expect the worst. The coronavirus pandemic in South Africa will get worse before it gets better, he added. Cyril Ramaphosa said that a third of the more than 22,000 cases registered in the country were registered last week. Despite this, the president says that the current containment could not be maintained indefinitely. He announced that as of June 1st, other restrictions will be lifted. Ramaphosa was speaking after a mining company in South Africa said 164 workers from a gold mine near Johannesburg has tested positive for coronavirus. So far, 429 deaths from COVID-19 has been reported in the country. How will the restrictive measure be released? A night curfew will no longer be in effect, more business will be allowed to open, and schools will restart, said the president. The controversial alcohol ban will also end with the restriction of sales to domestic consumption. The ban of the sales of cigarettes will be maintained. The president was put under pressure to release measures to boost the economy. The army of Côte d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso has been carrying out a cleanup operation since Saturday along their common border. The two military entities decided to clean up the bases which serve as a refuge to the armed group operating in Burkina and certain neighbor countries. The joint operation called Comoé, named of a river which crosses the two countries, was initiated to eradicate the presence of jihadists north of the Comoé National Park. Armed gangs have been reported in this area since 2019. According to military sources, there were militants operating in Burkina Faso who comes to seek refuge on the Ivorian side of border. According to the France press agency, which quote Ivorian sources, the Ali Dougou terrorist base, Burkina Faso, has been destroyed. 8 terrorists killed, 24 suspects arrested in Burkina Faso, 14 in Côte d'Ivoire, made available to intelligence services. We are not going to stop on such a good path. It is a first, but can assure you that it will not be the last, said the Burkina Chief of Staff, General Moïse Minungu, to the press. His Ivorian counterpart, General Lassina Doumbia, added, "It is necessary for us to unite to face the threat. If we do not do it, obviously, we will lose the war." The candidate of the ruling party in Burundi, Evariste Nyansimiwe, should be proclaimed Monday winner of the presidential election on May 20 by the election commissioner, according to the partial result, which gives him a very large lead over his opponent. The independent National Election Commission will announce from 12 GMT the result of the presidential and legislative election after having published those of the municipal council. Final figure will be released on June 4th. The ruling party, the CNDD-FDD, is giving the board winner of these three elections according to the partial results of the 119 command of the country published since Thursday by the Burundian media. General Ndasimiyahe, 2052, should succeed President Pierre Nkurunziza in power since 2005. He had decided not to run for a fourth term and has duped him as the main opposition candidate, Agathum Raza, president of the National Council for Liberty, has already called this result fanciful and accused the government of cleansing or cheating and pure manipulation. According to partial results compiled by the AFP and covering 105 communes, Mr. Ndasi Himiwe obtained an absolute majority of votes in 101 communes. In the 4 municipalities where he was beaten, he never lost less than 43% of the vote. It obtained at least 70% of the vote in 66 municipalities and more than 50% in 35 others. Even in this election, maintain this pandemic of new coronavirus were generally held in calm. The CNL denounced since Wednesday the pressure exerted on its assessor, some of whom has been arrested, as well as massive fraud.